Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse here, aka BGFH, and I'm back for the return of another series that I haven't done in a while, and we're going to do another Access Unlocked, where basically I take a look at a game genre, game concept, kind of some type of gameplay, whatever, and we're looking at like a mainstream title and trying to figure out how we could adapt that to be playable, especially for totally blind players. You know, low vision as well, but especially blind players. So this is actually going to be our first virtual reality Access Unlocked. We are sitting in the first cell here of Dreadhalls, one of my favorite VR horror games, hell, one of my favorite VR games in general, actually. And I don't know why it didn't really come to me. I was playing this on a stream recently and got to talking during the stream. I got to talking about it, and Riley and I were talking about it, and she's like, "Did you do an Access Unlocked for this game?" I said, "No." She's like, "Well, you know, this actually sounds like it could be pretty playable." And I'm like, you know, you're actually right, because as we're going to discuss here, as I'll show you, I think this game would be, I want to say, fairly straightforward if you put some sort of, especially navigation system and a few more audio cues in this game. So, for those unfamiliar, Dreadhalls is a first-person horror game, no shooting. There's no attacking whatsoever. You hear something, you see something, you run. You run and hide. Like I said, we've got a lantern here. I'm using the touch controllers. You can play this with a regular gamepad, like an Xbox One gamepad, which is originally how it was really released. It didn't even support touch controllers because, well, they weren't even out yet. But whether you're playing with that or touch controllers or a gamepad, you use both analog sticks. So my left one moves me forward, backward, left and right, strafe, forward, backward, and strafe, left and right. The right one actually turns me, and I think by default it's snap movement. If I bring it up here, like at the menu here, and we can change that kind of stuff, but I much prefer smooth movement, so we got rid of that snap nonsense. But then you have your lantern in your left hand, and your right hand is generally open, so that's what I use to interact with objects, to grab things, to open doors, whatever. So I use my triggers on my right hand, and I'll grab or interact, and then my right grip button will let me run, which comes in handy on occasion. So we're in our jail cell here, or our starting room. Now I'm going to pick up this item here. Grab that. Little lantern oil. So the main thing about Dreadhalls, got to scroll here. This game is very basic in a way in its levels design, level structure. They are all flat, like dungeons. You have rooms, you have hallways. There are a couple of instances where you have like a pit or like a bridge where you can cross a narrow kind of platform, and there's drop-offs on either side where you'll die. The second hub has a little bit of a pit in the middle of it. But other than that, it's flat ground, hallways, rooms, doors, and a couple of switches. So kind of reminds me of like Wolfenstein 3D. They were all right angles, they were all pretty simple geometry, that kind of a thing. So let's get out of this room. We got a door here. Now, navigation is the main problem for these for any kind of first, third-person action or first or third-person game, because you can move in, forward, back, left, right. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about stairs and multiple levels in this one, but a blind player needs the ability to know what's around them. We can just look over and go, oh, okay, there's a scroll over there. There's a lantern oil that we got over here. And we got a door. So the first thing that really a game like this would need is some sort of audio beacon. You could go into options, and maybe you could turn a checkbox on under settings for additional audio effects. So right now there are effects for when you collect certain things, but there's not really any effects letting you know where they are. So if I'm walking right in front of this door, there could be a specific sound, and it would have to be reoccurring or like a steady sound, like maybe like it could be, if you want to have it something that's more immersive, that it doesn't take you out of the horror vibe that you're getting in this game. You could find a sound effect that still, wasn't, super cheery or wasn't, super out of place. But it was just something so that I would hear it in the middle of my soundscape. So when I had the sound centered in front of me, like I'm looking at the door right now, I could open it. But if I turn to the right, I would hear it off to my left-hand side. So it's just a matter of using your stereo headset stereo headphones in your Rift or Vive or whatever platform you're doing this on. So you would need to know that. So let's unlock this door. The other thing that would really, really need to be, actually before we go any further, interface itself. Let's bring up our menu again. So the main menu, even I can't read, being low vision. I basically had to lift up my headset, look at my computer monitor because it was a flat screen. I couldn't read the text because it was always set at this far away distance. This pause menu, I can actually lean up close and I can get closer to it. It actually works a little bit better on the Quest, believe it or not, because if I get too close here, it kind of pushes it a little bit away. But on the Quest, I was actually able to get right up close, really close to that menu. But for a blind user, there could be some maybe native text-to-speech support. Engines like Unreal, Unity are starting to implement native like screen reader support, or at least text-to-speech APIs and plugins that people can use. I happen to know there is one for Unity. There is one, I think, in the works for Unreal. They're actually working with on native screen reader support in an early build right now as I'm recording this. What we do have is, if we don't have text-to-speech, as I move my hand up and down, you hear noises every time I land on an item. So even if text-to-speech couldn't be added, if somebody were to, in like a separate document or something on the game's website, or a listing in the game store page or somewhere, could have like a list of, okay, this is the menu layout. First is new game, then it's continue, then it's options, then it's whatever. A blind user could, okay, there's the top because there's no more audio. I'll go down. And I can count. There are 4. There you go. So if I wanted one of these, and then I could hit my trigger to activate them, but we're not going to do that right now. So the same thing could be done on the title menu. So navigating the menus is one thing. So let's go out and explore here. Turn my lantern on. So as we get to this left corner here, I would also want to know there are actual audio games developed for blind players. There are some action games like Shades of Doom, Swamp, a few other ones. There are some role-playing games. A Hero's Call. The Veil is coming out. There's all kinds of different ones that are probably going to be coming out here. But all of these have some sort of a audio thing. I believe it was Shades of Doom that had where if I was walking, I would hear like a wind sound, and that would actually fit really well in this because I know it sounds creepy because you hear like the wind kind of going through the hallways and stuff. So you might hear some breeze or something once I get here and go, oh, there's open space to my left. So then I could turn and then I could go. Now if I walk forward, then I might hear more of a breeze to my right because we got another thing here. And then if I turn, maybe you would hear also, because there's a door right here in just a little alcove, I might hear a little breeze, but then as I get there, I would hear the door sound to say, hey, there's another door here. So let's open it. Go in. Now we have items. And when we were streaming the other day, once I was playing it for a little while, Riley was able to tell, she can't see the game at all. So, she was listening to it live via another headset because I was mirroring the audio to my computer. So she was basically chat moderating during the live mixer stream, but also listening to it with no lag because she was mirroring it. I was mirroring it to the computer so she could hear it. I can pick up this here. So that is a coin. Now, I think the one problem that is the lockpicks and the coins use the same audio, or if they're not the same audio, they're very, very close. So you wouldn't really be able to tell. So again, you would want to have, maybe a different, more of a sharp ping sound for the lockpick, and then keep the sound that you have for the coins, because that fits perfectly. Now we got this. Yeah, see, that's the same sound, and that sounded like a coin, but it wasn't. So that's all in this room. Okay, so we would hear maybe some breeze or something going off to our right because we can turn, go there. Okay, we would hear breeze, or we would hear some kind of an indicator that there's some open space, that we would hear a door sound. And maybe you would have, actually it would be a good idea to have a kind of a regular door sound as well as a locked door sound, because the door that we looked at just over here, that was an unlocked door. We could just rush in, especially later when you're trying to outrun enemies. You kind of want to know if your door is locked, or if you have to fiddle with the padlock minigame. So this one's locked, so having a separate sound for a locked door. So we're going to twist our hand here, unlock the door. Another mechanic here. We bring up our inventory. We could either use text-to-speech, or my suggestion would be, if you wanted to not have a bunch of verbosity to it, use the same sounds when you pick them up. So if you had a sound for the lockpick, if you had a sound for the coins, you could have a sound for your little things that you pick up for your pedestals, which I'll show you shortly. And you can have a sound when I move my hand over it. See, right now it just goes. It doesn't matter which one I touch, it all sounds the same. But if you use the same sound as the thing that you would hear as you're approaching it, you know, and as you're approaching, you'd want to have the sound kind of, if you had that extra mode on, you would probably want to hear that sound as you were approaching, so you would know that something is around. But I'm going to take this, so... Oops. And what... Uh-oh. What did I do with my... Hang on. I got to grab my lantern oil here. There we go. Alright, let's see what's in this room. We've got... more lockpicks. And... lantern oil! So you could use that same effect when you're going through the menus to go, okay, that's the lantern oil. You could do that. Go, okay, we'll keep on... Oh, wait a minute, I'm going the wrong way. Am I going the wrong way? No, I'm not. Oh, wait. Oh, right. The first time you gotta use your... There we go. Okay. So those are all coins. Now you hear that little... That was just a little scroll. So that one does sound a little bit different. And again, I can kind of get close to it, but the text is a little bit small. So for a totally blind player, you would either have to have somebody, maybe have a voice actor narrate that when you picked it up like that. You know, because a lot of games will do that. Amnesia does that for some of its... not all of them, but some of the pages that you pick up. Just for an example. Amnesia: The Dark Descent. So we'll keep going. We would hear a breeze to the right. I'm going to run. Okay. So now we know that there's something, but we don't know if it's going to hurt us. In this case, it's not, because it disappears. But later, that won't be the case. So, in a big room like this, again, binaural audio, really good stereo separation for a headset. As I'm walking, I would need to have a sound cue, because this is a huge open area. There's an object on this table to the right of me, so if I'm over here, it might be a little bit quieter in my right ear, but if I get closer, it'll get louder. And then... lantern oil! There you go. So we got that. These pedestals, we'd need to have maybe some sort of, maybe you would have one kind of either maybe like a low rumbling sound, or it's just, you know, some kind of ambient sound to say, hey, there's an empty pillar here. And then maybe it would be a higher pitch sound once you have the object, you know, once you have the, I forget what it is, the little thing that you put on top of these pillars, so you know which ones are empty. So again, you have to tell a blind player what's in the environment. And it doesn't all have to be like text-to-speech or, you know, character narration. You can do it, especially in a horror game like this, you can use that type of atmospheric sound to actually add to it. So this little statue on the wall here, you know, maybe there would be some kind of a sound effect to say, cue me in that this statue is here. And again, this would either have to be narrated, like as I move my cursor, I hear there are 3. So I don't know what they say, but as I was highlighting them, and instead of having them just like that, they could, you know, I could highlight them, and maybe it would, if I held it there for a second, maybe it would tell me what that choice said. And if that's the choice I wanted, I could click it. We could hear another item over here. Lantern oil. And I think we're done in this room, so let's go grab this pedestal thing. I'm going to wrap up the video here shortly because there's not there's not a whole lot else to say. It's basically you just have to clue the player in to know, and a lot of this game is narrow hallways, small rooms. You have the kind of safety rooms, like this one's a little bit bigger, but you would have, you know, maybe you would hear a slight breeze over here. You would hear on the right hand side because I can walk forward. It depends on how you'd want to do that, but let's pick this up. Lantern oil and some coins and some lockpicks. So we walk forward again. I'm conserving my lantern oil, even though I've grabbed a few. So again, I would need to know, hey, this is a pillar, and at the end of each level you need to find one of these. So let's grab this, but we would need to know that that pillar is there. So you would need, this is a pillar that is that has something on it. So that would be a different sound than an empty pillar. More oil. So there's a couple things. I'm hoping I can breeze through maybe one level. Because I want to show... Oh, my guy's tired already. Come on, run, dude. Let's see. We'll get to a pillar. So again, I can go to this pillar here, bring up my inventory, and I need to have a separate sound for this little guy here. Put it on the pillar. It vibrates, so you know. That's the other thing. You could use haptic feedback. You can use rumble to let you know, like when I pull up my inventory, this does not vibrate, but you could also combine a little rumble to say that, hey, you're focused on this. There's my lockpicks. There's my coins. Here's my lantern oil. You know, you could have it make the sound. You could also have it kind of vibrate. So, which way are we going? I think this way. Nope. I wasn't paying any attention to where it wants us to go. This way. Okay, let's see if I can speed through this level. Talk a little bit about the enemies real quick. Okay, again, we need to know there are items over here. More. There you go. Those are all coins. So again, we need to differentiate those between the lockpicks. And of course I'm running out of oil again. We'd hear our breeze to the right. Hear breeze to the right again. We would hear breeze to the left. And we would probably hear a little bit of a door indicator straight ahead of us before, as well as hearing that breeze to the left. So let's go in the door first. And it's a locked door, so we'd want to differentiate that. And it's a small room. Okay, there's nothing in here. Oh joy, oh joy. It might even be helpful, like if I click the stick, let's say, maybe it would tell me north, south, east, west, just so that, like, you would kind of get to know, like, it's easy, if you can't see anything at all, it's easy to get disoriented and be like, okay, what even direction am I facing? I think I know where I'm at, but I don't. So maybe you could, like, click the stick or use one of the buttons to, come on. You could use one of the buttons. Okay, we're too close to my monitor is why. Okay, let's go to the right. So we'd hear breeze to the right. We would hear a little bit forward and to the left as well. Oh, okay, we get a door. Locked door. And we got a big open space. Now, I would know this is a safe room because you hear the music change. So in a big room like this, you probably have to amp up the indicators of where some of the objects are, because these rooms are huge. So being able to find this item over on this table over here. Yep, and some lockpicks. Alright. And that's Ben Riley that you've been hearing in the background there, calling out our lantern oil. Alright, we got another something over here. No, okay, yeah, we do. More lockpicks. Of course. And we got a door, so we need to hear that. Locked door at that. Now, as far as enemies go, as a sighted person, you don't necessarily know where they are until they appear either. And they kind of already have audio cues. So let's just keep going straight here. Again, we use our breezes. We've got our locked door. So again, we would want to know if there's any items in here. There's not. But we would hear that indicator that there's one of those statues on the wall, so we could try to walk up to it. So again, what you're doing as a blind user, if it's something you want to interact with, you center it so it's coming in right in front of you instead of off to the side. That's how you would focus on it. We're going to see if we can't find an enemy. I'm sure they're floating around here somewhere. Okay, so we probably do have items in here. Okay, we do have a chest, so maybe you'd want to have a different item sound for a chest as well. And again, they can't just be a one-off sound. In order for, like, I'm looking to the right here, I would hear a continuous little chain jingle sound or something to let you know that there's some change. Oh, and that is a dude that just appeared, which I am going to run away from for a minute. So that was, again, an audio cue. I wasn't even looking at it, but then I heard it, I looked up, and oh, there's a guy. So that you can already kind of tell, but you just have to let the blind user know so that they have enough reaction time to either turn around or back up or hightail it the hell out of there. We got a chest, so again, you'd want to hear some sort of a noise to indicate that. We'll open it up. And you would want to hear there, you would hear your lockpick sound. You would hear your coins, more lockpicks. We'll run out here. And if the developer, I'm going to try to see if I can reach out to the developer. Shout out to White Door Games, I believe it is. Because this game is really, really cool. Really immersive. It's simple, but it's good at what it does. Now, we just saw the thing grow out of the floor there, that creepy bastard right there. You didn't get a huge amount of audio with that. You might want to kind of exaggerate him kind of congealing out from the floor. You know, the music did catch, it did start once it appeared, but if it was something that you really needed to run from, you know, they would want to have the same indicator as I see it, kind of, like I said, growing out of the floor. So, you know, again, if the developer is interested in maybe adding some accessibility, because I think, I might be a little bit too descriptive. I might be, going super in depth. Hopefully it doesn't, hopefully it makes sense. But I think, in a way, without too much effort, I think this game could very well be very playable for a blind user. This is one of the easier VR experiences, I think.
I definitely give Dreadhalls a chance.
Yeah. And I think that she could play it. I think it really could. Because most of the environments are small. We got these tight corridors. Those wide hallways, by the way, can suck it, because those things, those giant four-legged whatever monstrosities are, they scare the crap out of me every single time. Oh, okay. Are we back in the safe room? Okay, yeah. Okay, this is just another exit. Okay. Because there's a chest there. Okay, let's leave again. I want to find the pillar. I really do. Okay, we got a door. I'm not going to call out every turn and every door just because I've gone through that already. Now we're just trying to speed things along and find something new. There hasn't really been a lot of creatures yet. Yeah, well, endless mode. That one, they crank it up on there. Let me see if there's another exit in the safe room, because apparently... Okay, that's a statue. Ooh, nope. I thought there was a special item there that I needed. Grab that. Let's see, is that... I'm trying to remember which entrance I came in. I've been doing so much talking, I really haven't been paying much attention to the navigation in this place. There's our... I remember that counter. Well, I guess we'll go... Have we been... Yes, we've been there. I apologize, guys. I got totally mixed up. I shouldn't be running either in case I have to. Okay, I was there already because that was opened. And I don't know if you'd want to have a sound for, you know, like a door that's been already opened as well, just to be like, oh, you know, because I can look at it and go, oh, there was a door, not just another hallway or another open passageway. Maybe you'd want to have an open door sound just to say, like, okay, you know, I need a mental map of what we're doing here. Okay, let's grab that. Indeed. Okay, I have not been here, so I think we need some... Speaking of lantern oil, let's refill my lantern real fast. Okay, we'll grab more. Okay. Oh yeah, this is all new. So these hallways suck. They're wider and they're very bad. Because I don't like the things that come out of those. Okay, we got the little alcove. We would have to hear something for a chest in here that we're going to unlock that's empty. Boo. Let's see, we'll go forward. We'll take another left. I better not run in case I have to. Oh god, I really, really hate these long hallways. Or wide ones. Son of a bitch. I really... This game, like I said, this game is really simple and straightforward in a lot of ways, but it's really, really effective at what it does. Anytime I see wide hallways, I get nervous. Still. And I've beat this game several times. Yep. Okay, so we don't have anything there. I'm hoping they won't be cruel enough to put one of those giant four-legged monstrosities on the first level. But I'm not going to hold my breath either. Because now if I... God, this is a long hallway. Ugh! There's no narrow alcoves except for this one. So if I... Wow. Okay, this level's... This video is going to be a little bit longer than I intended, but I do want to kind of be thorough. This room is empty. I mean, it's got some, like, visual scenery, which, you know, you might want to convey it, but not necessarily, because you don't want to overflow the player with information. You know, they want to know what's crucial in the game. I mean, I know you're not getting exactly the same experience. But at least to start with, you want to convey the most crucial, you know, information, the objects that you actually need to survive. And to actually get around, to find doors, to find... Oh, what? How did I get back here? Oh dear lord. We might have to end this because I was going to try to find the exit, but apparently I looped around somewhere and I don't have a godforsaken clue where I am. Oh, here we go. Haha, yes. So again, you'd want to have a filled pillar sound. We'll grab that. And you hear the little chime for the door. Now that chime could keep going. Instead of trailing off, you could, because we see the bright light, but you could keep that chime going so that the person can center their view and walk through the door. And that's pretty much the loop of Dreadhalls. So let me put this in the pillar here. Let me put... grab that. There we go. Oh, why didn't you trigger? Come here. So it vibrates to let me know it's there. So now when I'm walking later, I would want to know that, hey, this pillar already has one on it, so don't bother walking up to it again. So does that one straight ahead of me. The one to the right is empty. So I would need to know which ones are still empty. So you still do have to differentiate between locked doors, unlocked doors, pillars that are empty, pillars that have something on them, that kind of a deal. So, and then you would just have like a wind sound that would guide you. Maybe even a little bit of a different wind sound, since it's not just a regular hallway, but it's a level exit hallway. So you could do a different type of wind. And then, you know, boom, we're in level 2. So that's kind of just some running commentary, some thoughts, kind of our access unlocked for a horror game in VR like Dreadhalls. Grab some oil here. There we go. Fill it up. But as I was playing it on stream the other day, like I said, I thought this could be very, very... Because I've played more audio games. I've played more complex audio games with more advanced, or like with more complicated layouts than this. You know, navigating through a town square in an RPG, finding shops, and then going out in the wilderness in a game like there's another PC game called Manamon, which is kind of this Pokemon-esque accessible game. So, you know, there's other games that do have the player navigating through a space like this. So, and why am I stuck? Why can't I move? Okay, that's never happened to me before. I'm literally... oh, wait. Okay. Scroll. Okay. My bad. But, yeah, there's been more... 2, exactly. So, you know, there's been more complex environments, so as long as you had some guidance and some extra audio cues, you could totally... I have no doubt in my mind that this game couldn't be made completely accessible to blind players. And if I can find the contact information for the developer, I mean, kudos, this is like a one-man operation if I remember reading correctly. You know, I would love to chat with you via email, via, you know, if you find me on Twitter, at BGFH79, by the way, you can follow me there. So leave a comment in this video below. I would love to talk with you because, you know, I think that would be a really, really cool thing. And VR is probably going to become more of a, you know, as the cost goes down and more people start to use it, it's going to be more common. And you know, we don't want to leave blind and low vision players out of this either. So.
And I'd be willing to help test it, buddy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm scared the living crap out of me. I'd still do it.
Yeah, no, exactly. So we right now, the two of us, you know, I am legally blind. I am playing this with some vision, and I've been able to, like I said, aside from the trouble reading some of the menus and text and things, I can see the game to play the game really well. But I would totally try it in an audio-only mode, and we do have someone else right behind me here. We got Riley here, who just has some light perception, cannot see the environments at all. So if she would be able to navigate the environment, then other blind players would as well. So you've got a couple of testers right here. I said this is one of my favorite VR games. I love it. I was super stoked to hear that it was coming to Quest right around Halloween, because then I can easily take it everywhere and scare anyone I want to. So,
including his girlfriend.
exactly. You know, whatever works. But you know, I still love the game. It's effective at what it does, and I would love to help so we could have blind players enjoy it as well. So, like I said, follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. Leave a comment in below if you'd like to reach me. If you're another developer and would like to make your VR experience or game accessible, love to chat. You can follow me on Mixer, mixer.com/BGFH. IllegallyCited.com is where I have all of my various podcasts and projects and appearances and all that kind of stuff, all the things I'm working on. And of course, youtube.com/illegally-cited. I have other Access Unlocked videos. I have a whole playlist on VR accessibility itself, not just blind and low vision, but different aspects: locomotion in VR, low vision for VR. God, I don't know. There's a lot of different things. There's probably a good 10 videos in there. In there right now. So definitely check those out. Third-person games in VR, interfaces, a few other suggestions. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you found it helpful. And again, I would love to get in contact with some more developers. Let me know. Let us know. And until next time, we'll chat with you guys in the next one. Later.